Good morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. Let's talk. All right, y'all. I want to talk about weird energy. Sometimes we can be around somebody, we can be cool with somebody, or whatever the case may be, and then out of nowhere, you just feel this weird energy, and you don't even know where it's coming from, what brought it on, or anything like that. So I just want to tell y'all a little story, and it's from when I was in anger management class. So what's going on, Pro 901? Blessed to you this morning, my brother. Yeah, man. So this is about weird energy. This is a story from one of my anger management classes, and I want to tell it just because, it's a cautionary tale whenever you have conversations with people. Because I've been engaging with a lot more people here lately, and it'd be like you well, if I'm coming on the scene and I don't really know what's going on, I don't know the history between people, and you can feel some weird tension and stuff like that. But this is just a cautionary tale on that right there. All right, so I'm going through this anger management class and stuff, and we do a little group session, and afterwards we may break down into our own little individual cliques and discuss what we was talking about. So then this one dude talking, and he talking about college and the importance of education, which granted, okay, yeah, definitely. If you're living in this world, education is something that is important for you to have in order for you to move around and to prosper and accomplish your goals. In a lot of areas in this country, that's just the structure of this country. That's the way it is. Okay, got it. And he was talking about his daughter and how she went to school, and how she did this and did that, which is fine. And then he began to like say that that's if you don't go the education route, then you are pretty much not going to be anything. And I had to give some pushback on that. I was like, that's not true, dog. He started to argue on. I'm like, all right, well, do you believe in God? Are you a person who has any type of spiritual foundation? He was like, yeah. Like, okay, so it is a true point based on what you believe that Yahweh gives us talents and gifts. Is that correct? Yes, that is correct. All right. Those gifts come without repentance, meaning that once he blesses you with a gift, you use it in the way that you use it, but you just have to reap the consequences or the benefits of what comes from how you use it. Is that not correct? Yeah. So if I'm able to take my gift or my talent that has been given to me by the Most High, what is the education from a school going to do to enhance a gift that has been bestowed upon me? And so if I can take that gift and I can harness that gift into an occupation or a career that is lucrative to me, why would I need to go to school and take on all of these certifications and credentials that have nothing to do with the gift that was bestowed upon me by the Creator? And that was the only question that I had for him, and there was no answer. And after that point, dude started acting funny towards me. And I'm like, I know he can't be salty over, that conversation that we had about school and shit. So what is it that's really bothering him? And so the next session we had, I was like, hey, dude, you got a problem with me or something? And I wasn't coming at him with no type of toxicity or nothing, but that's the way I came at him, man. What's going on, Alfred? All good? What's going on, my brother? I ain't seen you in a minute. Good to see you, man. You said you worked in warehouses for 12 years, another 7 being a custodian. I got my education. Now I have a career in the federal government. Education does pay off. Yeah, education does pay off. No doubt it does. And that wasn't my argument with the dude, but my argument with the dude was if if I have a gift that has been bestowed on me by the Most High, and I have perfected that gift. I've worked on my craft and I got it down. Why would I need education to add to what I've already been blessed with and I've already perfected? That's what a lot of people go to higher education to do, is to perfect a specific craft. Is that not true? So my point to the dude was, yo, why would I need to do anything extra when I've already been given everything I need to excel in my field with my gift? There are people that are prodigies out here who don't need any teaching, who don't need anybody to tell them anything, and they can play and pick up stuff by ear. Why would they need to go to school and get why would they need math? Why would they need any of that thing? You know, and that was my whole point to the dude. And dude was mad at me. It wasn't because I made a good point or I won the argument or nothing like that. Dude got mad at me because I basically shit on his daughter's accomplishments. His daughter was the only child in a family who had actually been to college and actually finished college. And, I shit on that whole thing. And me inadvertently, I didn't know that that's what I was doing. I didn't know that that's the way that he was taking it, but that's the way that the dude took it. And that's what brought about that weird energy. A lot of times you can be in the midst of of a conversation with somebody, and you'll say something that might hit a nerve, might hit a deep nerve, something that cut them real deep before, and you inadvertently address it, and you speak a truth on it, and it don't meet their standard, or it don't go along with their thought process on that. Then people get pissed at you. People get mad at you for stuff like that. They won't admit it. They are not gonna sit there and admit that, man, you hurt my feelings by what you said. You see how that sounds just for me saying it? But you hurt my feelings, dog. We don't want to say that. We do not want to say that, but the truth of the matter is we do that a lot of the times. When we hurt somebody's feelings inadvertently because, we accidentally shit on their whole accomplishments or their family's accomplishments. Now, this dude had a strained relationship with his daughter. And so, you know, by the time he got back in her life, this is what she was accomplishing. And he felt like him coming into her life at that time helped her to accomplish it even more so. So it was an accomplishment for him too. And by me just coming and pushing against that whole entire thought process that he had towards education, then that right there, brought about that weird energy. And had I not asked nothing, then that weird energy would have stood between us because it was not addressed, it wasn't dealt with. And so that's why I'm so adamant about, if I feel that energy between me and somebody, I'm going to address it, period, point blank. And it's not a macho thing, it's just a healthy thing to do. That's healthy. That's what I grew up seeing. If my father and one of his friends had an issue, then they're going to sit there and they're going to address it. They're not going to go behind their backs and talk to other people about it and then act funny towards the person when nah, that wasn't how I was raised. That's not the picture that I saw. My dad, my mom, they would, well, yeah, my dad and my mom, I can say that, and my older brothers, they definitely were confrontational dudes. So they never just let something linger, which is a very healthy thing because oftentimes the longer we let these feelings dwell in us and we just harbor these emotions and hold them in, then that build up, because the more you think about it, the more your mind is going to add on to that situation, and it's just going to make you more angry than you was before. And so, doing so, You have to be mindful when you engage in conversation with people nowadays, especially nowadays because people are so easily offended in these days. I mean, anything offends anybody. And so when you're speaking, especially when you're on a public forum and you're speaking and you're getting pretty heated in your conversation, be mindful of the things you say. Um, was just having a conversation with someone the other day about, in the heat of the moment arguments, and in the heat of the moment you say so much stuff, and if a person is really attentive and they're really listening to what you say, they love to be that stenographer and they'll play back everything that you said, especially if you said something incorrectly because you were heated and you're not really thinking about what you said, and they love to play stenographer and run it back to you what you just said, because if you made any type of mistake in what you said, they gonna punch holes through your whole entire logic based off of that one mistake. It could be an incorrect word that you didn't put in the right place or something like that, but they're going to find that because all the way up to that point, every point that you've given have been something that they can't push back against because it's facts. But then when they find that one slip of a tongue, that one mistake that you make in there, they're going to jump on it and seize that opportunity and use that to just make your whole entire conversation null and void. I've seen it. I've experienced it time and time again. I've always engaged in conversation with people, and oftentimes they don't like what I have to say, or I don't like what they have to say. But even still, we still have respect towards each other. That's the way it was. But it's not like that anymore. You can't speak your mind freely, and if you do speak your mind freely, then people are going to come on and they're going to try to disparage you because you don't follow the mindset of the masses. And they try to make you feel like you're different and you're weird because you dare to think outside of the box, the proverbial box. Now, when I talk about dude and his and the whole education situation, at no point did I say that education wasn't necessary. At no point did I say that education couldn't get you where you wanted to go in life. In fact, I agreed 100% on that. But my whole point pretty much took away the need for education in certain areas, in certain situations, in certain people. That's all it did. But in that person's mind, oh, you're just shitting on education. We got to look past that, man, and we got to listen to the whole person's whole message, listen to the whole conversation. And if you don't understand, then get clarification in what's being said, because that can change the whole entire vibe of a conversation right there. But we miscommunicate with each other because, for one, the social media and all of this stuff takes away the engagement between human on human, so you can't really check the nuances of a person's voice, and you really can't look in their face, especially if they have an avatar and they're speaking through like I do. You can't see the hand gestures that I'm doing, or the look on my face, or my eyes. Are they darting to the left, or are they darting to the right? Am I really telling the truth about what am I? You can't do that through the internet, and so it weakens our communication skills. And when we do actually have a face-to-face conversation in person, the energy be off because we're not conditioned to that type of interaction anymore. You know what I'm saying? We're getting less and less of that person to person interaction. I was speaking a couple months back about cancel culture. How you gonna cancel me whenever I can get out on foot and go beat the street and put my message out? Tell me, how can you cancel me? I do not need social media to go on push any type of movement or any type of thing that I'm trying to get accomplished. I don't need social media to do that. I can go and do that on my own with word of mouth. I can go walk around and knock on every single door in every neighborhood just within a 2 mile radius of me to get my message out and to get a buzz in the streets. I'm from the old school. We used to go beat the streets and make things happen. We talked to actual people, had actual real life interactions with people, and made an influence by the presentation that we brought whenever we came to let people know what we was doing. We didn't have to use social media for everything and try to broadcast our message and further the movement. And see, this is what people get twisted. This whole cancel culture thing, bro. Yeah, cancel me how? Cancel me how? If they got rid of my YouTube page and my Facebook page and my Instagram page and my Snapchat, and my TikTok page, if they got rid of all of that stuff, how would I be able to communicate with people? The same way I was communicating with them before. I go see them. You know what I'm saying? I write a letter. I remember how to do that. I can still write in cursive. I'm like probably about two grades before I got out of school. They started phasing out uh cursive writing, but I can still write in cursive. I can write a beautiful letter. There's all different ways of communications where you can get your point across, where you can push a movement or something that's important to you, but you don't have to stay stuck in one person's idea of how to properly do something. That term, there's more than one way to skin a cat, is absolutely true. And this is something that I often push back against people who try to make it seem like one thing is the only way that you can be successful in a certain area. And that'd be my whole point. But whenever you speak like that, you bring about this weird energy, man. People have this weird energy towards you, like, oh, you think you better than somebody. Oh, you think you know more than people. You a know it all and stuff like that. Instead of just taking the wise instruction that you just blessed them with and letting it enhance their life and their level of knowledge. But see, that's a pride thing. That's exactly where that comes from. That comes from, oh man, you hurt my ego in front of all of these people. I can't just let that go like that. I just can't give you that one and apply this stuff to my life like I should do. That only comes through humility. Hey, yeah, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Um, there's so many different ways to produce weird energy amongst people. And I say this all the time. People that are uncomfortable around you and they can't explain why they're uncomfortable around you, that's because whatever spirit they operating in is either threatened by the level that you're operating from or just the spirit that you're operating in yourself. Now, this is for people who's have a spiritual understanding. So when I deal with people and somebody come at me, you know, really off-putting and really with a lot of venom, I should say, thing that I do is I begin to analyze the situation. Is there anything that I could have done or said that has offended this person? Maybe I can't see it. You know, maybe it's once again one of those things where I said something inadvertently that pulled up in their driveway. And if I can't really see that from my point of view, then I'm going to begin to look from a spiritual standpoint. Well, what does this person believe versus what I believe? Because that has a big dealing on the energy that you have between the person. That's why they say a lot of the times, don't discuss politics, don't discuss religion, and don't discuss who your taxes or your money with anybody. Those are three things that'll bring about weird energy with a person. Yeah, bro, you're right. True success comes in different forms. The person who created colleges didn't go to college. That was a pretty funny little trope that I heard before, and it pretty much sums that whole thing up. Yeah, there's so many different ways to true success. Absolutely. And we have some people out here who are considered successful by the standards of society, who didn't need education. And we have some who, had it not been for education, then they wouldn't be in the position that they're in. I would never disparage the importance of education. I just, the way that I say it sometimes, or the way that I'll come about making a point, man, it'd be pretty harsh. Cause I'm pretty sure dude felt some type of way when I was like, cause this is what I said to him that probably really pissed him off. I was like, all those degrees and paperwork is nothing more than these people saying that you were able to retain that educate that you were able to retain that information long enough to put it down on this piece of paper and regurgitate it back to us. That's what pissed him off, because he felt like at that point I was shitting on education. And I from his standpoint, you could take it like that. If I was him and he was me, I would probably take it like that. Same, I got it. I got it. But at the same point, where's the lie in what I said? There's absolutely no lie in what I said. But for me to break it down like that and to, I guess, minimize education in such a way really offended him, because that was a really big accomplishment for his daughter and his family. And so I understand that. And I had to take that one. Okay, bro, I'm sorry for, offending you. I didn't mean no offense whenever I said what I said. And the way I said it, I know it was spicy because we was in the midst of a pretty upbeat conversation. So, it brought about that energy. There's also weird energy. Now, this one right here, man, this is what I really wanted to put before everybody this morning, because this type of weird energy right here this is a different level, man. All right, so say you're just moving to a new area. You're moving into your home and getting situated and stuff like that. And neighbor, all of your neighbors, they come around, introduce themselves and all of that. But you have one neighbor in particular who wants to be your friend, wants to be your buddy, and they make sure that that they think highly of you, and they really make sure that that you have value in their life. They try to make you like, oh, that's my brother, man, we just met, just overly doing it. And you like, what's up with this cat, bro? Back up some. But then you come to find out that you fit the mold of the guy that his wife really desires. And so he feels threatened by you, but instead of, being nasty towards you and being vindictive and all of that stuff, passive aggressive towards you, he decides to befriend you and try to make your relationship so valuable that you would never think about messing with his wife, because he hasn't been treating her the way that he should treat her. And it's just, he has these insecurities built up because he's not doing what he's supposed to do for this woman who deserves it. And now there's come along somebody who fits the mold of what she's always been attracted to, and he recognizes that. So he tries to put forth a preemptive strike to keep you out the cooch. Real life scenario, y'all. I mean, this ain't something I just sat and thought of. This real life scenario. So now there's a weird energy. This is the real weird energy that I was referring to when I even thought of doing this and this subject. But man, that energy is so weird, man. It's creepy. It's almost like a sexual offender type of energy, man, in a sense, because you can't really put your finger on why this person is being so nice to you. You really don't have anything in common. The conversations between you are seemingly forced, and he's really exerting a lot of effort into being your friend, and you know that there's something else to it, but you don't really know the full history or background of those people, so you can't put the two and two together. And so there's this off-putting energy for a long time, man, and you want to be nice to the dude, you want to be cool and copacetic with all of your neighbors, but this one dude in particular, you just feel uncomfortable, especially being around him and his wife. And so you just keep your distance. And now he's like, oh, this dude want to keep distance from me because, he probably think about messing with, a lot of insecurity, man. And you can feel it sometimes. There's been many times where I've been in situations where, you come around a couple and that couple's not doing too well at the time, and the energy is off because maybe you say something that the girl finds interesting or finds funny, and that pisses the come on. We gonna act like dudes don't do that. We gonna act like we don't do that. Let's be real, man. Let's pull back the covers this morning and talk for real and get out of our pride, get out of our feelings like we don't do that. Let your girl laugh at another dude's joke and see what your facial expression is going to be. Not what you're feeling on the inside, because it's going to show on your face. But yeah, let that take place. And then he say something else funny and she just hanging on his words. Let that take place and see what your demeanor is like, what your energy is like. Let a man get your girl's undivided attention on any point or aspect. See what your energy is like. It's a lot of dudes that's angry with preachers at church because the preacher at church get more respect and more undivided attention than they give them at home. Now that's a two-way street. That right there is I feel like both bear some fault in that, because when you're a woman, I did an episode about this a while back, and I was talking about how black women in the black community freely give their respect and reverence to the black preacher, even more so than their own husbands, which causes a rift between their husband and the church. And so this is a real thing. And so, yeah, there's a bunch of dudes out here who won't admit it, but they know that they don't like the reverence and the attention that their wives give that pastor. So there's that weird energy again, but nobody want to talk about this weird energy because they feel awkward, and it's just not comfortable, man. It's like something sticking in your gut, but we got to have these conversations though. If we don't have these conversations, then we're going to continue to have this gray area. That's where the whole gray area of confusion come from. It comes from people who don't want to deal with something that's uncomfortable. So now you got all this weird energy, aka the gray area. Man, I ain't got time for all that no more. If you got a gripe, if you got a beef, you better speak it. Don't come at me with no weird energy and that passive aggressive ass energy and saying little slick shit on the low. No, we ain't got time for that. If you got an issue with me, you better voice that issue because I'm going to confront you about it once I start feeling that energy from you. Period, point blank. That's the way I roll with that. I don't have time to be playing these little kid games no more with nobody. So it's a slippery slope to have that mindset because when you're on these YouTube streets and you walking around these YouTube streets and you seeing what's going on and you come across people who will befriend you initially. They'll accept you into the fold, but then at some point, as you interact with people more and more, you're going to begin to find out that you don't mesh with everybody and your ideas clash with different people's ideas and things of that nature. Then you'll start to separate the wheat from the tare. Now, see, the thing about that whole parable of separating the wheat from the tare is the fact that the wheat and the tare have to grow up together so they look exactly alike. You can't differentiate between the two. And so it's really tricky for you to really know who's right, who's wrong, who's good, who's bad, whose intentions are pure, whose intentions are foul. It's hard to differentiate because I was saying a while back, people picked up on the lingo of real niggas. You got these suckers out here who done went and they done learn how the real niggas move, how the real niggas talk, how the real niggas sit back and play it cool. And there's a saying that goes, it's best to be quiet and be believed to be smart than to open your mouth and to be proven a fool. And so they done figured out how to copy all the real nigga stuff and they'll sit back and they'll play the position of a real nigga. So we have to be able to separate the wheat from the tares. That only comes through discernment. Real niggas know real niggas know bitch niggas. Then that's vice versa though. A bitch nigga know a real nigga when he see one. He can feel the vibe of a real nigga when he see one. Don't ever get it twisted. And so we just have to be able to take the time out to analyze our situations and see who's really for us and who's really against us. That's period point blank. And that only comes through, dealing with people and research and background and stuff like that, which is something that I make sure that I do because if I don't do this, then I can get caught up very easily. And so I'm very mindful of how much I talk and where I talk and what I say. You have to be. It ain't about nobody controlling you. It's about you controlling yourself. That's what it comes down to. So this is your boy D-Mac, man. I appreciate you, Alfred Allgood, man. I appreciate you coming through, blessing me this morning. Pro 901, I appreciate you coming through. Hey, y'all go check out Pro 901's content, man. That dude definitely drops some knowledge. Definitely have a word to enhance your life, and same with Alfred Allgood, man. Uh, there's so many different people, man. You got Queen TV. You have um, so many more. I'm gonna write a list so I can just go through and just shout out everybody's page and stuff like that because I'm real bad at remembering names just offhand. But once I get it, I got it. So I'll just go through and do that. That way I can give all of the proper shout outs. I always got to give a shout out to your crazy cousin. Dude been rocking with me from day one. Self-awareness TV, no doubt. Reverend Tony, we've been rocking for a minute. And all of these people remain solid throughout the whole time I've been interacting with them. And so, I shout out the people who I recognize as being solid in these YouTube streets. I can't speak for any other area in their life or nothing like that. But based on my interactions with these people on these YouTube streets, they have proven themselves to be solid. Period. Anybody else can argue whatever they want to, but I don't base my opinion of somebody off of somebody else's opinion. I have to deal with that person on my own and make a determination for myself. That way I don't have that weird energy with that person. And people do that sometimes. They will go against the person and people will just jump on the bandwagon, or they'll catch somebody who's just coming in on the information. Oh, don't mess with that person. They this and they that and they that and they this. And you shine away from a person and acting in a certain way, having that weird energy towards a person because you don't want to tell them everything that everybody done said about them behind their back while they smiling in their face. And you not no fake person like that, so you really don't know how to act around. Nah, you can't allow people to dictate your judgment like that. You judge for yourself by your interactions with that person. And oftentimes you'll find that that other person was the one that was in violation, and that's why they had such harsh feelings towards the person that they was talking about in the first place. But all this weird energy, man, no, we don't do that. We don't do that over here. We don't rock with that. And anytime that weird energy comes up, it is addressed in real time, not a day later, not somewhere else with another person. No, it's addressed with that person real time. That's how you handle situations. That's how you keep your relationships healthy. And that's how your friends know that you solid and that they know that you are there for, the right reasons. Because you don't play those games with them. And so all in all, John, I apologize again for uh what you perceived as me shitting on your daughter's accomplishments. I'm hoping at this point, this was like a few years ago when this happened. I'm hoping at this point that she's well into her college degree. She's figured out her major and what she wants to go forth and do. And y'all getting ready for graduation day. That's my hopes and my wishes and my prayers on that whole situation. And to be honest, me and him, we talked it out and stuff like that, but I feel like he probably still feels some type of way because that was a real deep cut, man. Just the look on his face should have been a red flag to me to shut my mouth, man. But I gotta say what I gotta say. That's why my show is called Yeah, I Said It, because most of the times it's one of those types of statements that I'm gonna make. And when I say it, people look at me like, I can't believe you said that. And I'm like, yeah, I said it. That's where the whole title and concept came from. So I'm out of here, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Y'all know what I say. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out.